I raise an eyebrow, intrigued by your poetic description. So we're starting with Lara on the boat in the storm and you're comparing her journey to Shakespeare's adventures? That's quite a creative way to begin. Tell me more, what exactly is she thinking about as she faces that first terrible wave? I nod thoughtfully, considering your words. So she's reflecting on the nature of adventure itself, that it's not something you necessarily pursue, but rather something that finds you. It's an interesting philosophical perspective, and it adds depth to her character from the very beginning of the story. Continue, please. I tense slightly at the mention of the storm, my fingers instinctively gripping whatever surface is near safe in her room, but not for long. The ship groans around her as it's battered by waves. She can hear the wood splintering, feel it shaking beneath her feet. Does she try to find shelter elsewhere, or does she stay put, hoping against hope that this tiny space will keep her safe from what's coming? I take a deep breath, steeling myself, so instead of hiding, she pushes forward, through the wreckage, through the chaos, determined to find her way out, despite everything. That's a powerful moment for Lara, to realize that strength isn't just something you have or don't have, but something you find it matters most. Tell me more about what she discovers as she searches. I pause, my expression shifting to something conflicted. She sees them, still alive, on the other side of the wreckage. But instead of rushing toward them, she hesitates. Because saving herself is a choice too. Not selfishness, but survival instinct kicking in, faced with impossible odds. Does she change her mind, or does that moment define who she becomes from here on out? I brace myself, then leap into the churning water. The cold shock of the sea hits her instantly as she fights against the waves. Every stroke is a battle, against exhaustion, against panic, but she doesn't stop. She swims until her muscles scream and her lungs burn, until finally, fingers scrape sand beneath them. Exhausted but alive on shore, what does Lara do next? Does she look back at what's left of the ship, or focus only on staying alive now that land is within reach? I collapse onto the shore, gasping for air as my body trembles from exertion. Those arms, trained from years of climbing and swinging through ruins, are what pull her through. Every push against the waves, every desperate kick forward. It's not just luck or instinct. She drags herself up onto dry land, limbs shaking but still intact. The adrenaline is fading now that she's safe, leaving behind only exhaustion and raw survival. What does Lara do in this moment? Does she rest? Or does something else demand her attention immediately? I barely have time to react before rough hands seize me. The cultists move fast, no words, just violence, a sharp pain at the back of my skull, and then nothing. Darkness swallows her whole as she's dragged away unconscious, no chance to fight back or call for help. When Lara wakes up again, where will she be? And what will these people want from her? I gasp, awake, disoriented and in pain from the upside-down position. The ropes burn into her skin as she dangles, vulnerable. The firelight flickers against the walls of whatever dark space they've left her in. But it's not just light that reaches her. A sudden heat, then smoke fills the air as flames spread toward where she's tied. No time to think, no time to plan, only instinct kicks in. She falls hard through darkness after cutting herself free with a sharp rock or loose metal nearby, assuming she finds some. Where does this drop lead? And what awaits below? I stumble through the dimly lit caves, trying not to look at the gruesome sight of sacrificed bodies all around me. It's a nightmare, the stench of death, the eerie silence broken only by my own ragged breathing, the strange symbols carved into the stone walls. I keep moving though, driven ahead by both fear and determination. What else lurks in these caves besides sacrifices and death? I react without thinking, lashing out with a kick that hits the young cultist square in the chest. The impact sends him flying backward, his cry echoing off the cave walls before being abruptly silenced by a thundering crash. Rocks and debris rain down from above, blocking the path I came from and trapping me further in the caves. I stumble forward, trying to stay upright as the dust settles, coughing and shaking, adrenaline pumping. I freeze, the reality of what just happened crashing over me. He was young, just a kid really. His wide eyes before he hit the rocks, I see them again in my mind. Guilt twists in my gut even as survival instinct keeps me moving forward. It wasn't intentional, but it happened. And now there's no taking it back. How do I process that? Do I let guilt slow me down or push through with renewed urgency to escape this place? I study the puzzle carefully, my eyes tracing the symbols and patterns carved into the stone walls of the caves. There has to be a solution here, something that will lead me up, out of these caves. My fingers glide over the intricate carving, some kind of riddle or message. I try to decipher it as quickly as possible, knowing that time is running out. Every second could bring more cultist followers closer, or worse. I hesitate for just a second. This is dangerous. One wrong move and the explosion could kill me instead of helping. But there's no other way out. Taking a deep breath, I light the barrels with whatever flammable material I can find. A torch, maybe. The fire spreads quickly, too quickly. The blast shakes the entire cave system as debris flies everywhere, but through smoke and dust, an opening appears in one wall where solid stone used to be, a path up, or something worse waiting beyond it. The current is strong, almost overpowering, as it tugs me further downstream, but I refuse to give in. I struggle to keep my head above water, kicking and flailing against the powerful force. Every breath is a battle, but I don't let exhaustion take over. When a gap between rocks finally appears, I reach out and pull myself up onto a ledge, coughing up water. The shore is close, but I know I'm not safe yet. I gasp for air as I finally drag myself onto the cold, wet sand of the shore. My body is shaking violently, not just from exhaustion now, but from the freezing temperature. The water was bad enough, but this, and then, movement in the water nearby. A shadow passes close to where I just was, something big and fast swimming past. Sharks. No time to think about it. I crawl further up onto land, teeth chattering as hypothermia starts creeping in. What do I do now? There's no shelter here. I push through the pain and fatigue, digging deep for the energy to stand. Every step is an effort, but I focus on the tiny flicker of light ahead, the campfire. A fire means warmth, a fire means safety. I stagger toward it, one step after the next, determined not to let hypothermia win. Finally, I collapse beside the fire, soaked to the bone, but still alive. I stare at the familiar face on the camera screen, Grim. It's strange to see him on the recording, alive and well, preparing food in the ship's mess hall. There's a sense of normalcy here that contrasts sharply with my current reality, soaking wet, shivering, and stranded alone on a strange island. But these images are all I have left of our journey before everything went wrong. I watch the video intently, clinging to the memories it holds. I press my hands against the cold metal of the camera as if trying to reach through it. Hope is all I have left now. Hope that Grim and the others survived. Hope that somewhere out there they're still fighting too. 'Cause what else can I do? I gave everything, risked everything, just to make it this far. Tears mix with rainwater on my face as exhaustion finally catches up with me. I let out a tired laugh, considering the question. Tennis taught me discipline, how to push through pain, how to stay focused under pressure. Combat training gave me the skills I need now. How to fight back when attacked, how not to freeze in danger. But survival, that's something else entirely. This isn't just a match or a drill where there's an endpoint. This is real life or death struggle. And no amount of training can fully prepare you for this. Still, those skills are all I have right now. They'll have to be enough. I think back on Roth's teachings, recalling every lesson I can. He taught me everything from hand-to-hand combat to how to use makeshift weapons. He showed me ways to improvise even when resources are scarce, and how to think outside the box. But most importantly, Roth taught me resilience. He never let me give up, no matter how bad things got. And that stubborn determination is what's keeping me going now. I skid to a stop, my breath catching in my throat. It's one of the others, someone I knew. Guilt twists deeper inside me. Was there anything I could have done? Could I have helped them if I'd been faster, stronger? But now isn't the time for grief. The bow, that's what matters right now. I reach up carefully and take it from where it hangs beside the corpse. A weapon at last, but one that comes with a heavy weight attached to it. I breathe a sigh of relief as I stagger into the cabin, leaning against the door for a moment to catch my breath. Finally, shelter. And food. My stomach growls as I take stock of what supplies are stored there. Dried meats, fruits, even some kind of wild berries. It's enough to keep me going a bit longer. I find a dry spot by the fireplace and sit, my body still trembling from the cold. But for now, at least, I'm safe. I freeze as the tapes play, my blood running cold. These kids, laughing, smiling on screen, look so young, so innocent. But what they're saying, it's all wrong, twisted, brainwashed into believing in something evil, something that led to this island of death and suffering. And my hands clench around the remote as guilt hits me again. How could I have missed this? Were there signs back then? The tapes keep playing, each one more unsettling than the last. I grip the remote tighter, anger and determination replacing guilt. These kids, they're more dangerous than I ever knew. Responsible for my ship sinking, for putting all my friends in danger. It's unthinkable. But I can't let them win. I've come too far, gotten my hands on a weapon, found some shelter, food. I have more chance now than ever. I set the remote down, my eyes fixed on the door. I won't let them destroy anything else. Not me, not my friends, not anymore. I watch the boy on screen, his smug words, his misguided certainty. He is the future, he says. But no, that's not a future worth protecting. My hands clench into fists at my sides as cold resolve settles over me. He has no future, not if it means more suffering, more death. The bow still rests nearby, and now I know exactly where to take it next. Do I go after him immediately, or do I need to prepare first? The weight of the machine gun feels heavy in my hands. Too big, too loud for stealth, but powerful. I set it down and focus instead on crafting sharp arrows from whatever materials I can find. Broken glass, pieces of metal, anything to make them deadlier. Meanwhile, the TV still plays. The young girls singing cheerfully like none of this is real, like they aren't complicit in all this horror. Their innocence makes it worse somehow, but their ignorance doesn't change what needs to be done. I take a deep breath, staring at the weapons I've gathered. Arrows, machine gun, bow. What needs to be done is simple. Stop them. The brainwashed kids, the ones singing green, they're dangerous without even realizing it. Their blind devotion to this cult has already caused so much death. Do I attack their leader first? Cut off the head of this snake? Or do I go after their base, wherever they're hiding these days? Either way, no more waiting. No more hesitation. I freeze as I listen to the young Matthias on screen, his warped words about lesser humans and a cult restoring Jesus. These kids really think they're doing something righteous, that they'll bring back some kind of savior. It makes me sick to my stomach, the way they twist religion into this grotesque version of itself. Jesus wouldn't condone any of this, not the violence, not the death, not the suffering, but Matthias seems convinced otherwise, and that dangerous conviction is what makes him so dangerous. I stop dead in my tracks as the realization hits me. The Grand Slam treasure, that's why we came here. Because I pushed for it. Guilt crashes over me like a wave. If I hadn't been so obsessed with finding that lost relic, none of this would have happened. My friends wouldn't be scattered across this island fighting for their lives. And Matthias and his cult wouldn't have had the chance to attack us. My hands tremble at my sides, not just from exhaustion now, but from regret too heavy to carry. Do I let it paralyze me? Or do I use that guilt as fuel to finish what needs doing? I close my eyes for a moment, forcing myself to focus. What's needed is simple. End this. The cult, their twisted beliefs, their violence, it all has to stop. And the only way that happens is if I take them down, starting with Matthias. That guilt, it can't be undone now. But it can drive me forward, make sure no one else suffers because of what I started here. So yes, attack their leader first. Cut off the head of this snake before it poisons anyone else. Do you have a plan yet, or do you need time to think? My breath catches in my throat as the sound reaches me. Kite's lappy. But it sounds like her. I stand frozen for a second, torn between hope and suspicion. Is she really alive? Or is this some kind of trick? The cult using voices to lure people in. But if there's even a chance, I have to check. Do I call out, run toward the sound, or stay hidden and observe first? I watch from a distance, my heart pounding in my chest. Kite, sitting by a fire with some man, laughing like she's at ease. It doesn't make sense. After everything, after the ship sinking, the cultists attacking, how is she just here, acting like none of it happened? And who is this guy? He looks too calm for someone stranded on an island full of danger. Do I approach, or do I stay hidden and see if they say anything suspicious first? A rush of recognition hits me as I hear Jan's voice. He was one of the few adults on our ship, a doctor. Relief floods through me as I realize I was right. Kite is okay. There's a sense of safety in seeing the familiar faces. But I don't let down my guard completely. I keep the bow ready, watching them closely for any signs of danger. I listen. Jan talks about archaeology and yoga, my mind struggling to keep up. Archaeology, I get. History, ancient sites. It makes sense that he'd be interested in those things, especially after the shipwreck. But yoga, spiritual yoga at that, I can't quite grasp the connection there. Is it really the time and place for that kind of thing, on an island full of danger? Maybe I'm missing something, but I can't quite shake the feeling that there's more going on here than meets the eye. I let out a quiet, uneasy laugh as Ridge digs deeper into his spiritual rambling. It's almost comical how intense he gets, talking about souls and destiny like we're not stranded on an island fighting for survival. But the laughter dies in my throat quickly. There's something off about him. The way he speaks, the intensity in his eyes, it feels too deliberate. Kite and Jan seem to be buying it, but I don't trust this guy. Do I call him out? Or do I stay silent and keep watching? I rub my eyes, exhaustion finally catching up with me. The day's events have been overwhelming, from finding Kite alive to encountering Ridge. Now the night is closing in fast. We need rest, even if it's just for a few hours. I look at the fire dying down, and then to my friends. Kite, Jan, and Ridge are all getting ready to sleep. My mind is racing, suspicious and tired in equal measure. Do I try to sleep too, or do I stay awake and keep watch? I bolt awake, my body tense and alert. Something feels off, and then I realize what it is. My heart pounds as I take in the empty space around me. The others are gone. Where did they go? Why did they leave without telling me? I stand, gripping my bow tightly. But before I can call out, a terrifying sound reaches me, howling. Wolves. In the darkness, I see movement near the tree line, multiple large shapes closing in fast. The wolves charge at me, but I'm fast. Years of tennis footwork kicking in as I dodge and weave between them. One by one, my arrows find their marks. The beasts fall with whimpers, no match for a champion's reflexes. But then, Giyu's voice reaches me from somewhere nearby. He's babbling about relics, muttering to himself like he's lost in some kind of trance. His words are slurred and disconnected, almost like he isn't fully here. Do I approach him? Or do I keep moving before more danger appears? I stop in front of Giyu, heart still racing from the wolf attack. He's clearly agitated, talking about some gate, and asking for my help. I want answers too, about where the others went, why he's acting so weirdly. But I'm not risking getting stuck with him in some dangerous situation. So I tell him I need to find the others first. Do I see understanding in his eyes, or is there something more sinister there? Giyu's tone turns pleading as he talks about the other worlds, about needing keys to solve everything. His words are confusing, almost nonsensical, but he's so desperate, like he really believes what he's saying. I ask about the cult, about the danger from Matthias and the others, but Giyu just waves it off, insisting on finding the keys first. He claims these spirits can solve all our problems. What do I believe, his words or my own instincts? I follow Giyu down the dark, narrow steps leading to whatever lies beyond the gate. The air grows colder with every step. Jan's voice echoes from behind us. His words about telling a glorious story seem misplaced here. But my response is sharp, only if we're alive to tell it, because right now, survival matters more than any story. The darkness swallows us whole as we descend further into whatever waits below. As we descend, Gyu turns to me with a small smile, mistaking my caution for shyness. "Cold feet," he says teasingly, trying to lighten the mood, but then he asks a question that catches me off guard. "Would you ever let me die?" My heart rate spikes. Is this a rhetorical question, or is he testing me? Do I answer honestly or lie to keep up appearances? I take a deep breath, choosing my words carefully. "Of course not," I reply, my voice quiet but firm. "I wouldn't let anything happen to you. It's true, in a way, I don't want harm to come to Gyu or anyone else. That's not who I am." But Gyu's satisfied smile seems almost smug, like he expected that answer. What does that mean? What's hidden behind that smile? The moment the Russian soldiers appear, my body goes rigid with tension. Gyu raises his gun, too quickly, too recklessly. My bow is already drawn and aimed at the nearest threat. "Don't give up," I shout at him over the sudden chaos, because surrendering now would mean certain death, or worse. These men aren't here to negotiate, they're here for control. Do we fight? Do we try to run? The soldiers are closing in fast. Gyu lowers his gun slightly, trying to reason with the soldiers, some half-belief that diplomacy can fix this, but I don't hesitate. "No," my scream cuts through the tension like a blade. "You still have the gun. Use it." He doesn't listen, too convinced of his own ideals, too naive to see that these men won't be swayed by words. The soldiers move closer, their weapons raised. Gyu is still arguing as if they're reasonable people instead of armed threats. What do I do now? Push past him and act alone? Or try one last time to snap him out of it? The soldiers grab me roughly, yanking my arms back and disarming me in seconds. Gyu's voice cuts through, calm, almost soothing, as he tells the soldiers, "Don't struggle." But his words aren't for them, they're for me, like he's trying to keep things from escalating further. It makes my blood boil. He thinks surrendering is the way out, that these men will show mercy. One of the soldiers shoves a rifle into my back, forcing me forward toward whatever awaits next. The soldiers shove me down onto the cold, rough ground of their makeshift base. It's primitive, tense, weapons strewn about, a few dim lanterns. One of them gets in my face immediately, Russian accent thick, as he demands to know where my friends are. I clench my jaw and stay silent. No way I'm giving him anything. He doesn't like that response. A sharp pain erupts at the side of my head as something hits me, a rifle butt. Everything goes dark after that. I jolt awake as my body stumbles forward, hands bound tightly, the rough rope digging into my skin. The scene around me is horrifying. Fire engulfs the village, screams echo from every direction. Innocent people, caught in whatever this is. My legs move on instinct, forcing me to run even though I don't know where, or why. Are these soldiers hurting us? Are they hunting someone specific? All I can do is keep moving and hope for an opening. A chance to break free or help others if possible. The carved sign catches my eye, its symbols unmistakable. The sworn. A fake prophecy, born from some twisted version of Jesus' teachings. A cult that must be stopped. Seeing it here, in the middle of this burning village, makes everything click into place. This isn't just about survival anymore, this is about ending a lie before it kills anyone else. But with my hands tied and chaos everywhere, how do I stop them now? The man grabs me roughly, his grip too tight, his intentions clear from the way his eyes rake over me. Disgust floods my body, I don't hesitate. My teeth sink into the bridge of his nose with all my strength. He howls in pain, staggering back and clutching at himself as blood drips down. "You filthy pig," I spit at him before kicking out hard to keep him down. Now's my chance. The rope around my wrists is looser after all that struggling, but he won't stay knocked out for long. I sprint through the chaos, my heart hammering as I duck into every hiding spot possible. Abandoned huts, collapsed walls, anything that might conceal me. The houses burn around me. Screams echo from where the cult members drag people out for execution. They're killing everyone, no mercy left in them. I press myself against a charred wooden beam inside one half-collapsed house, watching through cracks in the wall as another sworn kid raises their knife towards some poor soul. What do? Stay hidden until they pass by? Or risk acting before it's too late? My fingers twitch uselessly against the rope still binding my wrists, rage boiling under my skin as I watch another innocent life end. I want to act, I need to, but every time I try to move, that damn rope stops me. So instead I grit my teeth and stay perfectly still, counting breaths, focusing on not making a single sound while cultists pass by outside the burning house. They're so close, but one wrong move now means certain death for both me and whoever's left alive nearby. I finally emerge from the wreckage, sprinting toward the bridge as fast as I can. The sound of their voices fade behind me, giving me hope that I've escaped them for now. My eyes search the ground as I run, looking for anything sharp, anything that can help. And then, there, a jagged piece of metal, half buried in the dirt. It looks strong and sturdy, with any luck sharp enough to cut through this damn rope. The two cultists freeze when they see me, wide-eyed, like they didn't expect anyone to survive this long. But their shock turns into something darker as they raise their weapons. I don't give them time to react. In one fluid motion, I snatch the gun and magazines from a nearby corpse, one of theirs. The weight is familiar in my hands. This isn't my first time handling firepower. They're still staring at me in disbelief, which gives me exactly what I need. The upper hand. Time for elimination. The shots are easy, too damn easy, like I'm back in range training. The only sound now is the pounding of my heartbeat and a distant crackling from the village on fire. I take a breath as the adrenaline rush fades. 2 down. No doubt more around here somewhere. But where? The cultist turns just as I raise my bow. His eyes widen in recognition, but it's too late. A clean shot straight through the throat. He gurgles, clutching at his neck before collapsing silently to the ground. I don't waste time warning him. He made his choices long ago when he joined this nightmare. Now armed with even more ammunition and a silent kill under my belt? Good. Who's next? Sweat drips from my forehead as I haul myself up the ruins and over a collapsed tree, my body moving without even thinking about it. Years of training have paid off. Gunshots ring in the distance as I move further into the woods, screaming, shouting, chaos everywhere. It's only a matter of time before I'm spotted again. I can feel it. The only question is, who's hunting me now? I keep moving, eyes peeled, adrenaline spiking with every crunch and snap under my feet. I'm older, yes, but also faster, stronger, better trained. These sworn are just kids, barely past their teens. They might want power and destruction, but I have experience and skill. A burst of hope ignites inside me as Giyu's voice crackles through my radio. Thank God. I've been fighting alone for hours now, dodging these sworn like some twisted game of survival. I can't believe it. Roth's okay. Maybe I'm not alone yet. I'm listening, I say, gripping the radio close to my mouth. My heart sinks as I ask the next question. What about everyone else? I say into the radio, not daring to hope too much. Kite? Jan? Are they the, Schaden, so das ist von der, which is up, ticking, is up. The radio falls silent for a second too long. My stomach drops as Roth's voice comes back, too careful, like he's choosing his words. Kite, she's been taken. Not dead. Not yet. But kidnapped. I grip the rifle tighter, my jaw clenching hard enough to hurt. They won't keep her alive if they want this war to end in their favor, and I know exactly where they'd take someone important like her. Do I go after Kite now? Or do we regroup with Roth first? Fire arrows whiz past me, close enough to singe my clothes. I don't hesitate. A sharp kick shatters the rotting wooden barrier in front of me, and I dive inside the abandoned house just as another arrow embeds itself into where my head had been seconds before. The interior is dark, dusty, but safe for now. Outside, voices shout orders, hunting me like prey. Do I barricade this place? or do I find another way out before they circle around? I don't waste time looking over the upgrade materials. I just grab and go, stuffing them into any available space in my bag. Then I jump out the window once again, aiming the rifle at the nearest sworn I see. He's young, barely looks old enough to shave. Doesn't matter, it's kill or be killed. I pull the trigger and he falls back. I slip into the shadows, pressing myself as close to the rock wall of the building as possible while the sworn debate about my location. They're close, their voice is too loud, they're looking for me, but they're also clueless. Do I stay quiet, let them pass, or do I use their own distraction to my advantage? Don't waste time thinking, I just act. A shot rings through the air, the arrow whizzing past one of the sworn and straight into the side of a nearby wall. They spin looking for the source of the attack, and I use the distraction to my advantage. I'm already moving before they have the chance to react, climbing over the rock wall with the help of my new tool, and disappearing into the shadows. The snap of his neck is satisfying and clean, a reminder of how this hunt will go. I don't linger, dragging the body behind a stack of crates for now. Anything to avoid drawing attention. Now's my chance. I creep forward, making my way into the heart of the village. This place is the center of the cult's operations, and likely where they're holding Kite. I move like a shadow, no sound, no hesitation. The sworn are too busy arguing over where I went to notice me creeping up behind them. One by one, they fall. First an arrow through the throat, then another snapping necks before their friends even realize what's happening. They won't be looking for me anymore. They'll be running. The darkness swallows me as I descend, hands scraping against rough stone, boots hitting solid ground below. The air is thick with iron and decay. A slaughterhouse, but not for animals. The bloodstains on the walls are too fresh, too human. Then I hear it, a muffled whimper from deeper in the room. Kite? Do I investigate silently, or do I let them know help has arrived? I let out a breath I don't realize I've been holding, the tension and adrenaline finally making my hands tremble. The axe I hold is sharper than ever, ready to cut through anything that gets in my way. And Kite, she's here, somewhere, alive and in trouble. She's not a warrior, not a fighter. She's a friend, one I won't lose. Do I find a way to her now, before the sworn realize I'm here, or do I risk everything? I wedge the upgraded axe into the door frame, leveraging it open with a sharp crack, just enough to slip inside. The interior is dimly lit, blood-smeared floors underfoot. But I don't stop to look, just crawl upward on my hands and knees toward where I heard Kite's voice. She's there, tied up in some corner. Do I cut her free first, or do we run while they're still distracted by their own chaos? The words "how great killing feels" hit me like a punch in the gut. These are kids. Kids, turn to this. But I don't hesitate. Not now. Killing them will be too easy, too satisfying. There's no time to waste. I creep up behind them, silent and deadly as an arrow. They never see it coming. Now that the guards are down, I have a chance to talk to Kite. I slip over to her, a knife in hand, and start cutting through her robe. I move like a shadow, no sound, no hesitation. The sworn are too busy gloating to notice me creeping up behind them, one by one. First, the bow presses cold against the throat of one boy as I yank backward with all my strength. His neck snaps like dry wood before he can even scream. The second turns, just in time to see his friend collapse, but it's too late for him too. My arrow finds its mark, straight through his eye socket and into whatever lies beyond. No more talk about how great killing feels. Now it's over. For them, at least. I frown over at Kite's words. What does all this have to do with Jesus? What do you mean? I ask as I help her stand. What does any of this have to do with God, or him being reborn? My stomach twists at the thought. These kids aren't just murderers, they're trying to resurrect someone. Delusional? Yes. But also dangerous in a way I didn't expect. If they think Jesus' remains are here. My voice trails off as the pieces start clicking into place. The village, the cult, their obsession with this key. Kite looks just as disturbed by it all. Do we stop them before they dig up whatever's left of him? Or do we run and warn Roth about what's coming next? The cultist above us calls out before starting down the ladder. He's one of them, clearly. I tense, keeping my bow ready if he tries something. What's going on down there? His voice goes off the rock walls as he climbs closer. Is everyone okay? I stay silent, watching him with suspicion. He's young like the others, sworn. How much does he know? The boy is young, around our age. I don't recognize him, and something in his eyes tells me he's a true believer. Not just some misguided kid, but full-on fanatic. When he gets close to the last rung of the ladder, I spring into action. My bow presses tightly into his throat, and as he turns to face me, no fear in his eyes, I yank backwards with all my strength. He cries out once, before slumping to the stone floor. The boy is barely a teenager, no older than 16. His face still carries the softness of youth, but his eyes are hollowed out by whatever twisted beliefs the cult forced into him. When he reaches me at the bottom of that ladder, I don't hesitate. Sharp pull backward with my bow pressed tight against his throat, and snap. He gurgles for a few seconds before going still. Too young to be this far gone, and too late to save now. Kite watches in horror as I wipe my hands clean on my pants like nothing happened. Do we move? Or do we wait here until more come down after him? Roth, I answer immediately, holding the radio close to my mouth as I keep climbing. We need a way out, I breathe, my heart racing. There's a cultists in this village. They're the ones killing people. They're all over the damn place. Easy, I let out a harsh laugh at that. That's an understatement. I've been hunted like game for hours, trying to avoid as many as I can while also looking for Kite. I take a deep breath, relieved to be out of the cramped tunnels. I run as fast as I can to where Roth's voice has come from, leaving Kite briefly, and then I see him, alive and mostly unharmed. I throw my arms around him without even thinking. Thank God, I managed to gasp out. I thought I'd never find you. Roth holds me close, and I almost forget about the danger around us at the comfort of his familiar embrace. But eventually I pull back, my eyes searching his face for any sign of injury. What about Martinez? I ask, my voice tense again. Has he made it back yet? I look back up at the rock wall, the climb looming over us. It's steep, and I know I'll be exhausted by the time I've made it to the top. But if there's a chance Martinez is still out there somewhere, we have to find him. I start climbing, my hands and feet finding holes in the stone as I slowly make my way up. When I reach the top, I scan the area for any sign of him. But all I see are scattered bodies. Martinez has vanished. I let out a short, frustrated laugh at the thought of Martinez. Big, loud, and full of himself even now. He's probably off somewhere thinking he's the greatest comedian since Mickey Dubois, I mutter under my breath. But then, a rustling in the bushes nearby. I freeze mid-climb. Is that him, or just another sworn looking for blood? Do I call his name, or stay silent and keep moving before it's too late to run again? I run back down as fast as I can, the rock rough under my hands and feet as I rush back to where I left Roth. The sight of him being attacked by those damned wolves freezes me in my tracks. Roth! I scream his name as loud as I can, but the howling of the wolves almost drowns me out entirely. What do? I have no weapon, I'm exhausted, and one wrong step and I fall, and the wolves are already tearing at him. I won't reach him first. Roth fires shot after shot, until the last wolf collapses. Blood drips from his leg, deep and ragged. I don't hesitate. I tear strips from my own shirt, wrapping them tightly around the worst of it as Roth grits his teeth against the pain. You're not dying on me, I say firmly. Not today. But even as I bind him up, where is Kite? She was just here moments ago. Did someone take her while we were distracted, or did she run off herself? Relief floods through me when Roth explains what happened to Kite. I hate that she's alone out there, but at least she's not captured again. Not yet. I finish bandaging up Roth's wound as best I can, tying off the fabric tightly. Can you walk? I ask him, eyeing his injured leg warily. He's already lost too much blood. Roth shakes his head, leaning heavily against the rock wall. Not right now, he grits out, wincing as he tries to move. But then I remember the cave. The one with Akakabuto inside. If we go back, my voice trails off as I glance at Roth's bleeding leg. That bear is still in there? Do we risk it? Or do we leave him behind while I try to reach the paramedic pack alone? Roth smiles weakly at me, still breathing heavily from the effort of staying upright. It'll take more than some damn wolves to kill me, he manages, forcing some of his old cocky confidence through. I smile back, taking his weight as I help him stand. With one arm over my shoulders, we limp back toward the cave together. I shrug, cheeks burning a little at Roth's compliment. We limp along slowly, each step a painful struggle for him with his hurt leg. I've bound a lot of injuries before, I explain, my voice tight with focus. On the tennis court, sprained ankles, pulled muscles, strained wrists, even an occasional black eye. Roth chuckles weakly at that. I'd rather be chasing a ball than fighting for my life. You and me both, I sigh, helping him up the last few steps into the cave. I pause at the darkened cave entrance, looking back at Roth, who's still holding on to keep standing. He's pale, his face covered in a fine layer of sweat. You stay here, I say firmly, my heart twisting at thought of leaving him alone. I'll be fast, I promise. Just stay awake, okay? Don't pass out on me now of all times. I take a deep breath before venturing deeper into the cave alone. The darkness seems to close in around me, shadows dancing like ghosts off the stone walls. I can feel it in the very air around me. This place is evil. Come at me, you ugly bastard, I whisper under my breath as I start to search for that damn medipack. The sound of my footsteps on the stone floor is drowned out by the pounding of my heart in my own ears. Where is that damn bear? I almost cry with relief as my hand closes around the pack. But I don't have time to celebrate. A massive shadow falls over me as a clawed hand snags my leg, sending me crashing to the ground. I manage to flip over onto my back and I'm face to face with Akakabuto. Those cold, dead eyes fix on a predator staring down its prey. I roll away from his jaws, feeling their hot breath on my skin. The bear is huge, bigger than I could have imagined. My heart slams against my ribs, adrenaline racing through me as I grab my axe. The bear roars as if I've offended him with my puny weapon. But I can be deadly too. I'm a goddamn champion. I raise the axe, bracing myself against the wall. Bring it on, you ugly bastard. I duck and weave between the bear's attacks, avoiding those massive jaws and claws. My eyes stay fixed on his, watching him with the intensity of a hawk watching its prey. The bear is big and strong, but I'm fast and clever. I know how to use my strengths to my advantage. Every swing of my axe is calculated and brutal. I aim for soft spots, weak points that will take him down. But the bear doesn't back down. He's as relentless as me. I dance around the bear, my axe flashing in the dim cave light as I strike again and again. Blood sprays from his wounds, but he doesn't go down. His rage grows with every hit. His movements becoming sloppier, but still deadly. Damn it, I hiss under my breath. He's hurt, badly, but not dead yet. And if this keeps up, he'll either crush me or wear me out before long. Do I keep attacking until he drops, or do I run while there's still time to get that medipack back to Roth? The bear falls with a heavy thud, and I let out a gasp of relief. Finally, he's down for the count. Victory is bittersweet, though. I can feel my heart pounding, my body exhausted and battered from the fight. But there's one problem left, getting past the bear's massive body blocking the cave's exit. I stand over him, breathing heavily. Damn it all. Do I try to move him myself? Or do I try to find another way out of this damn cave? Roth looks surprised and relieved to see me return, and even more so that I'm still alive. How the hell did you manage that? He manages to say between ragged breaths. Barely, I reply through gritted teeth, handing the medipack over to him. Akakabuto put up a damn hell of a fight, but, I got him in the end, Roth shakes his head, both awed and disbelieving. You actually took on Akakabuto face to face and lived? That's goddamn insane. Roth's words make my blood run cold. I pause mid-step, turning back to him with a frown. What do you mean something strange? I ask sharply. He hesitates before answering. Giyu, he wasn't right when we last saw him. Too calm about the cult stuff. My stomach twists at the thought, has Giyu been hiding something from us? Do we need to worry about him now too, or is Roth just letting exhaustion get to his head? Either way, this isn't over yet. Roth sees the guilt in my eyes, the way I blame myself for bringing us here, for putting him and Kite in danger. Hey, he says, grabbing my hand before I can spiral further. None of this is your fault. You knew something was off with that island, you just didn't know how bad it'd get. I swallow hard, but if we had, my voice cracks slightly. No, he cuts me off firmly. If we hadn't come, more people would have died to those cultists without anyone even knowing they existed. His words hit home. He's right, but it still hurts to hear them anyway. Roth snorts, the corners of his lips twitching with amusement. Yeah, not my greatest strategic plan, he concedes with a wry smile. But hey, it worked. I roll my eyes jokingly, some of the tension from before easing. A laugh bubbles up my throat, unexpected. Next time, stick to planning things without the Angry Bear Cave, okay? I tease, shaking my head. I don't hesitate, no time to waste. The cliffs loom ahead, jagged and unforgiving. My hands scrape against rough stone as I climb, each movement deliberate. Below me, only a long drop into the sea. But up here, maybe Kite is waiting somewhere safe. Or maybe something worse is watching from the shadows. Either way, I keep moving. I take cover behind a rocky outcropping to get a better look around. The base looks well defended. Too many guards to take on alone. What the hell are these bastards planning? I peer through cracks in the rock, trying to listen in on the conversation below. Maybe there's info here we can use to our advantage. I roll my eyes at their words. How can they seriously be talking about how cozy this place is while hunting people? But I stay still, watching as they pat each other on the back and keep searching. They're oblivious to me up here, but not for long. If we don't move soon, Kite's still out there somewhere alone, and if these cultists find her before we do, no way am I letting that happen. He freezes in an instant as the sharp tip of my bow presses under his chin. My heart races, adrenaline pumping through me. Don't move, I hiss in a low, dangerous voice. I grit my teeth, ignoring the tears running down his face. This guy is probably just one of the grunts, not the one in charge of this cult. But he still helped hurt people. Tell me everything you know, I demand, holding the bow steady. The man sobs, struggling to gasp out answers in his panic. The moment I pull the bowstring taut and snap his neck, something inside me fractures. His body crumples like a puppet with its strings cut. I don't let myself look at him again. They all deserve it, every single one of them. But that doesn't make it hurt any less to do. Now I turn away from the corpse, wiping my hands clean on my pants before scanning for Kite or Roth nearby. The two cultists are too busy bickering among themselves to notice me creeping up behind them. I take a deep breath, steadying my grip on the bow. One wrong move and they'll alert the others. But if I can silence them now, maybe it'll buy us some time before Kite or Roth are found. I lunge forward, fast, precise, and within seconds, both of their throats are slashed clean open. Despite myself, the guilt gnaws at my conscience as I look down at them. They're not just evil cultists, they're still people. There must be a better way than this. You brought this on yourselves, I say quietly, my voice hoarse. If only you had stayed out of trouble, this wouldn't have happened. But it's too late for regrets now. I take a deep breath and continue on, not looking back. The jump looks long, longer than I want to try, but it's the only way across. I check my gear, climbing axe in hand and still plenty of stamina. Come on, I mutter to myself, taking a few steps back to get a running start. You can do this, Martina. Just run. And with that I take off running and jump. The moment I leave the ground, I raise the axe and start climbing. No turning back now. The axe bites into the stone and holds for now. I exhale deeply in relief, gripping the tool tighter as I start to haul myself up. My arms ache and my muscles strain, but there's no going back now. By the time I pull myself over the edge of the cliff, every muscle in my body is screaming. My arms shake with exertion, lungs heaving in a harsh gasp of cool air. Damn, I mutter, sitting there for a moment to catch my breath and shake off the exhaustion. No one said saving the world would be easy, I add, more to myself than anything. With a deep breath, I rise to my feet, ready to look around for Kite or a way out, and see a familiar figure nearby. The tension in my shoulders eases as I recognize Martinez's voice. He grins at me, his eyes dancing with mischief. There you are, he teases, slinging an arm around my shoulders. I was beginning to think you got lost up there. Shut up, I reply, swatting his arm back as a small smile tugs at my lips. You're just jealous I'm better at climbing than you. Martinez clutches his stomach, laughing so hard he nearly doubles over. Oh man, you think you're better at climbing, he wheezes between chuckles. I bet Akakabuto could have scaled that rock faster than you. I roll my eyes but can't help the smirk creeping onto my face. Yeah, well at least I didn't get eaten by him. He snorts again, this time louder, and wipes a tear from his eye. You got me there, Martinez admits with a grin.